I was a public Scientologist. I defended it.
You saw her on 2020. Now, hear what else Leah Remini is saying about her headline-making tell-all.
I felt if I didn't speak about this publicly, then what did I stand for?
Then, take a walk in the shoes of the sensational Stacey London and discover the remarkable technology that is helping this father see his family for the very first time. And now, are you ready for Rachel?
The book that I am holding may be the most talked about book on the planet Earth at this time. It's called Troublemaker, Surviving Hollywood and Scientology. Please welcome back to our show, Leah Remini. Good.
Thank you.
I always smell like
J-Lo.
garlic. So good.
My favorite perfume. I don't even say it because she's my friend. I really love it. All right, go ahead.
You know what?
Yeah.
I love J-Lo's perfume too.
Thank you.
And now I've got it on too.
There you go.
Yeah. I got it the fun way. Tugging it out. So, you know, of course, we're going to start by talking about the book. I just want to say the thing that struck me the most about this, and what a page turner it is how self-effacing the work is, and how emotional it must have been for you. But just, I mean, you had me at the first page.
Thank you.
The first 5 pages are so powerful and just really, really moving. And I think the most shocking thing to me was right off the shoot, you know, let me start with this. I've lied, I've cheated, and you just start going after yourself in this big laundry list of things you don't like about your behavior over the course of your life.
Correct.
By the way, if I wrote that list down, it would be longer than this book.
Well, I could write a whole book on just that.
But tell me why you started the book in that way, with that really a punch.
Well, because I did want people to know who I am and who I was. And I'm a flawed person. People are flawed. We all make mistakes. We all have done things that we're not proud of. So that was the first thing, because this is about my life. This is a story of my life, and I spent over 3 decades in the church. And I know the policies that are applied to people like me who leave and then speak out about it. So it wasn't really just for that reason. I just wanted people to know who I am and the mistakes that I've made.
Full circle.
Yes, and I didn't want them to spend time and energy doing that, because I think it's boring, and it's more a reflection on the organization than it is on me. And I just really wanted people to know that I, like you, am a human being.
And there's so much on that list that I think everybody in this room, you know, could admit to. We've all lied about something. We've all done something in our lives. We make mistakes. We're human. That's how you live.
Right.
That's the process everybody has to go through.
Exactly. And it's also, it's okay. It's like, you know, to release yourself of that guilt is something that I'm learning just now in my life.
It is a lifelong process, I think, for everybody, though.
Yes, but I mean, remember, I thought I was in something that was doing something to help me, and then I realized that I was that person while within the organization.
Right.
So whatever criticisms they had for me, I agree. That's why I was there trying to receive help and paying for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's such a strong start. Of course, to be balanced, I am going to read this response. The church has responded to the allegations in your book, calling you a liar and claiming that you are rewriting history for publicity and to sell your book and garner ratings. They deny pretty much all of the allegations and say you did not leave by choice, rather you were about to be expelled for ethics violations. So that is their statement. So you start with a very strong statement. That's their statement. It seems like you were prepared for that.
Correct.
The other thing that really struck me was the last page of the book that I read, the end of your acknowledgments, really overwhelmed me.
Thank you.
In your acknowledgments, you end with a statement to your daughter, Sophia, and I think that's the true motivation for the book. Can you explain?
Yes. You know, I don't want to explain. It's very hard to explain 30 years of my life and all the policies involved, but basically you are raised to protect the church at all costs, and my loyalties were to the church. And I looked at my daughter and I was like, what if one day I don't want to be in the church? I would have raised my daughter to choose the church over her own family. And I didn't want that for her. And so my daughter is I mean, kids are a blessing in so many ways. I mean, there's so many times I was writing this going, what am I doing? I'm putting my business out on the street. You know, I would like go to my bathroom to have a breakdown and she'd come in with some, you know, horrible thing that's happening at school. Somebody said that said this about, you know, and it's like, your life is no longer about you. You know, your life is about, it's just, she has been,
So
my
that
way
was the
out.
motivation.
She really was my
You
way out.
wanted her to be a person that
Her loyalty was to her family.
To her family first.
A family who loves her and is supporting her and is good to her. Yeah. And I didn't want her to learn what I learned.
Yeah.
And to not know really where her real support was going to come from. And that's her family.
What has the reaction been for you? You have built a support network for this. I mean, and something that's big of a, that large of a life change requires, I would think, the fabric of that. You said you started out this process frightened out of your mind.
Yes.
I mean, clearly you became fearless once you finished the project.
Well, here's what helps too, is I'm sitting back while I'm in the church watching people being called liars, being called apostates, saying that they kicked. I mean, I'm watching people who I knew in the church leaving, families having to separate because of the policies of shunning. And I just said, I'm not going to, I was very public. I was a public Scientologist. I defended it.
Right.
And I felt if I didn't now speak about this publicly and defend those people who really didn't have a voice, then what did I stand for? So I had to do it. I felt compelled to do it. Just like when I was in the church, I felt that I was, you know, a big mouth and I supported, you know, and I stood by people. I had to stand by people now. So I felt it was important for me.
You felt that you were living in conflict.
All the time.
Literally living in conflict.
Yes, and then you pay for that. You pay for those questions. And I feel like here I am. I dedicated my life to this. My mother dedicated her life to it.
You were literally born to it.
Yes, I was a second generation, you know, somewhat. And you know, I really didn't have a choice. But the point is, as I got older, you really don't. Your choice is either get ready to leave everything you've known, all your friends that are in the church, your mother, your stepfather, your brother, your sister,
Once
it doesn't
you're deemed
matter.
an SP, right?
Yes, a suppressive person. You are to be shunned, and that is the parishioner's choice. So it was important for me. I felt like I had to stand up in that way.
What do you hear through a grapevine or through a network or through family members or mutual friends? Do you know if anybody in Scientology is reading the book?
You're not allowed to read books like this, just as I didn't when I was in. You're not allowed to go on the internet. Like, when I say not allowed, I mean you're allowed, but it's not. They don't want you to. And then when you question what you saw or read or somebody told you about, then you're then put into interrogation. Where you're paying for it, literally, you know,
right.
Money, you're paying to be interrogated of why you're looking at that, why are you connected to it, what are you doing, who are you talking to, and then you got to give up people, give up websites. And if you were my friend and you were in, which is what happens, if I said to you, I think we're doing the wrong thing by people. I don't know if we're doing the things we say we've been doing. I think we're harming people. I don't think we're doing all this helping. You would then write an internal report on me. So it's not set up in a way for people to question it.
So thankfully, you do have this fabric, this network of family and people that
I'm
are
very
close to you that
blessed.
became became part of this process. But what has the ramifications been? How hard did you have to work for that? And
It's not.
What, was it painful for the family to go through those growing pains with you?
Yes, I mean, it was. My mother was in it, you know, most of her life.
Right.
My mother got us all into it, and so it's every day. It's not like, oh, they go once, you know. As a Scientologist, I know what's expected of you is 2.5 hours a day,
7 days a
minimum,
week.
7 days a week, minimum. So it's not some thing. So it was really a big part of my mother's life, which is why when the reality show came along, I really wanted it for my family. I mean, I had fun, but it was a lot more work working with your mother, like every day. Like, you love your mother, but then you're like, everybody it is, like, yeah, that would be interesting. You know, she's like, do I get an agent? I'm like, no, you don't get an agent, Vicky Marshall. You're good, Vicky Marshall. So it's not as easy to do, you know what I mean? But they really did enjoy it. Like my mother and my stepfather, they would go to our diner. They're like, we have to go and like pick people. Our fans are gonna be there to see us, and they like she makes it like her job. I want to like I care what her says. I love her. It's so I really love that we had that as
That
a
you had that
family.
experience,
Yes,
yeah,
but it was a
that
lot more work. I was like, please, somebody save me from this.
What about, I mean, Theater Greens is on in like those huge blocks of time too. What
Yeah.
about if you're channel surfing and you see yourself?
Okay,
Do you
when
get freaked out?
When I see myself, like, you know, I'll be on my couch and I'm like turning it and I'm like, wow. Like it's weird for a second and I'm like, what am I wearing? Oh my God, I went through a bang stage like that? Oh my God. Oh, that must have been where I was pregnant.
totally-
You know, it's very odd.
it does, it even
And what's
freaks
so
you
funny
out.
is watching with my daughter, you know, like I try to show off. Like, hey, my mom used to be on a show and she was like, Kevin is so funny.
He is too. You were both so funny.
I go, yeah, no, he was so funny. And then I wait. You know,
Right.
maybe she's just waiting. It was a
just-
joke.
she's
Waiting for
pacing.
mommy to be on this.
She's
She's like,
pacing.
Jerry Stiller? So funny. Okay. Yeah, she doesn't like
Mothers
her
and
mother,
daughters,
she
you
thinks
know how to
I'm-
push
she
each
thinks I'm
other's
an idiot.
buttons,
No, she
I
thinks
know.
I'm an idiot. She thinks I don't know nothing about nothing, you know? Yeah, I love that.
Hey, would you go back to do a sitcom?
You know what?
Did you like that life?
I tried a talk show, I tried a reality
Right.
show because I wanted to know, I wanted to go through it because a lot of times you have dreams.
You want to dip your toe?
Yeah, I want to actually feel how it feels to be there. And I honestly, the sitcom world is everything. Like
It's cool, right?
I love it. I mean, it's every day. You know, your camera, your crew, like you really bond
like
with
a
each other.
family.
It really does,
Yeah.
and I miss it. But the problem is that I worked with Kevin James.
Yeah, how are you going to top that?
Exactly.
Couldn't have. My face hurts.
Mine, no.
He's so great.
You know,
Oh my
funny.
God. How long did it take you to get through a day together? I can imagine the two of you.
This was me most of the time. And the director would yell, he'd go, turning your back to the camera is not going to help anybody, Leah, because I would ruin shots. So instead of sitting there going, you're an idiot, Kevin, shut up. You know, I would just turn my back and they'd go, you can't turn your back to the camera. We know you're laughing, so just let's cut. You know, because he is funny on and off
So I
screen.
can imagine the two of you
No,
together
yeah.
as like brother and sister.
We had a great relationship. I mean, still do.
Hey, the holidays are coming up. Are you guys? You do big Thanksgiving,
Yes.
little
We
Thanksgiving.
do big Thanksgiving. It's nobody's happy. Everybody wants it. You know what I mean? I don't know why I do it.
Dramatic.
I don't know why I do it.
We're like roller coasters
Yeah.
too. One minute everybody's laughing, one minute everybody's crying, everybody's laughing.
I was like, I hate you girls. You're so nasty to me. We're like, just stop chewing so loud. You don't have to leave. Just shut up. So we do a big Thanksgiving, and of course we play charades. I don't know why, because again, it ends up in a fight. But we do it every year, tradition. Okay.
We
Same
have
thing
very
with Christmas.
similar families.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good. Very loud. We
And
scare people.
do
Like when other people
do
come.
people go, "Are you okay?
Yes.
You're not right." You're like, "What are you talking about?"
It's a normal person. What are you talking about? I love you. Thank you for making time for us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Troublemaker, Surviving Hollywood, and Scientology. Of course, everybody on the planet's talking about it. It's available now. Up next, another friend of our show, A Day in the Life with Stacey London. After this.